My name is Tia Lebherz. I'm the Northern California organizer with Food and Water Watch. We're a consumer advocacy watchdog organization out there every day to protect our food and water resources. The TPP means trouble for our food, our water, and our environment. And even though we can't see it, big oil, big gas, and 600 multinational corporations are writing it for us. Thanks to WikiLeaks, we now know some of the threats it will bring. So in general, the TPP will equal less local food, more fracking, sketchy seafood imports, no GMO labeling, and more corporate control of our democracy. I'm going to dig in a little bit, especially on fracking. Food and Water Watch, along with our allies across California, across the nation, are fighting for a ban on fracking. And the TPP is going to put that in jeopardy. So the first thing to know about the TPP and fracking is that it is going to open large markets of export of liquefied natural gas, largely to Japan. Japan is the largest importer of natural gas, so that means definitely more push to frack America, to frack California. Second, and probably more frightening, and this is what we found out in the WikiLeaks, is the provision of the TPP that would allow foreign and multinational governments to sue our city and our state governments that pass local legislation against fracking. So right now I'm working with communities in Butte County, in San Benito County, in Los Angeles, and they're working to protect their homes from this big industrial oil and gas operations. And what would happen is that these multinational corporations, they could sue based on trade barriers, and that wouldn't be determined in courts. It would be determined.
It's already the law for corporations.
It would be determined in international trade tribunals. That is not democracy.
It's already the law of corporate law here in America,
All right,
but now it would
so,
allow
and I just want to mention just quickly some of the other TPP issues. Miguel just talked a ton about GMO labeling. This deal would allow importers of food to force products suspected of border inspections to be tainted into our commerce while testing is being carried out. It would increase the imports of unsafe farm-raised seafood from places like Vietnam, and it will do nothing to increase our labor and our environmental standards in the country. So how do we stop the TPP, y'all? Earlier this month, we know Fast Track was introduced. We have to stop Fast Track. So we need everyone calling their representatives. Being out here today in the streets is a huge step. Thank you, everyone, for being out here. Please get on the phone, call your representatives, go into Pelosi's office, tell her to vote no on Fast Track and oppose the TPP for the good of our food, our water, and our environment. Thank you, everybody. Thank you. So I'm just going to interject a somber note right now, not that what we're talking about is obviously overarching here. Totally going to ask the judge to take it somewhere else. You're going to argue. Hey, somewhere else. You're going to argue. Perfect. Not here to mediate your problem.
Go.
Perfect. Okay. Thank you.
Go.
Perfect. Okay. So first of all, a real pressing issue that we all need to know about. I think I've heard a lot of people in the crowd talk about, but is that we're in a real all-hands-on-deck time, not just for Fast Track, but also for stopping the Keystone XL pipeline. I think most people heard today that the Environment Assessment Report came out saying that the Keystone XL pipeline would have minimal impact on climate change. It's a real important thing that we need to know about. So I'm just going to say that there's vigils on Monday in San Francisco at the, I think it's right here, but I might be wrong. So double check. Right, the State Department building. It's down there by the Embarcadero. So we'll see you all again on Monday. But we're going to continue on, and we're going to put a lot of the pressure on saying no to Fast Track right now. So loads of people have telephones. Pull out your telephone right now. Pull it out. Do it. We're going to do an action. We're going to do it together. It's going to be awesome. If you don't have a phone, I'm sorry. 3 steps that I want you to do. This is a Food and Water Watch action. All you need to do is go into your little text message place. Get ready to send a text message. The number that you're going to send the text message to is right here, 69866. Everybody doing it? 69866. That's what you're sending a text message to. The word that you're going to put in your text message is trade. 69866. Get there. Okay. There's a couple of things that happen once you hit send. Okay, everybody hit send at the same time. It'll be amazing. What? Okay, so you can also look out for this sign. I think a lot of us are there, so we're texting 69866. You're texting the word trade. Hit send. Do it. Taking action right now. Okay, so you're going to get a text message back. Everybody's phones are ringing. You're going to get a text message back. It's going to ask you a bunch of questions. You could do that now if you want, or you can just put your phone down and complete that in a couple of minutes or when we're walking down the road, when you know your voice is getting a little hoarse. But you've taken action. We're going to stop fast track. We're going to do it.
What does that do, though?
Oh, yeah, what does it do? It sends, yeah.
Who gets?
So it'll prompt you. You're going to enter your information, and we'll send a message to your representative telling them to oppose fast track and oppose the TPP. So you just walk through a couple steps, and then you'll send a message directly to your representative right now.
So the person who really needs to hear from us and will hear from us for your text message, but is our own Congresswoman Pelosi. A lot of you also know that she's had a busy day today meeting with Michelle Obama. I talked to the folks in her office, invited her down to come and speak, but she wasn't able. But we know that she's listening. So this week, 80,000 people signed petitions, specifically to Pelosi. She got 80,000 messages from people across the country. And that's urging her to come out publicly against fast track, because her partner in the Senate, Harry Reid, did that this week. So he's saying no to fast track. She is being encouraged, or I would say urged, to say no to fast track. There's also the flyers that we're handing out today have Pelosi's phone number on it. So go ahead also when we're on the walk and just give her office a call and leave a message up there. I mentioned just before Tia came up that there were 2 chapters that were released by WikiLeaks. The second chapter, which actually came out, well, the first chapter that came out was around intellectual property right and internet freedoms. So Myra Sutton from the Electronic Frontier Foundation is going to talk about what was in that chapter.
Hi.
Hi.
So good to see so many of your faces here today. I've been to a couple of these protests around the world when I go to some of these TPP negotiations, and I feel like the movement has only grown over the past couple years. So my name is Myra Sutton. I'm from the Electronic Frontier Foundation. We are a digital civil liberties organization based in the Tenderloin, actually a couple blocks from here. And we've been fighting for users' rights for over 2 decades. We've been suing the NSA since 2006, when a whistleblower came out and revealed that a building actually a couple blocks from here too, in the AT&T building, they were copying everybody's phone calls, and he decided to take a bunch of documents and come to us and say, look, the AT&T is revealing all this information about subscribers' phone calls. We need to do something about this. And so we've been suing the NSA since 2006, and again last year, in light of Edward Snowden's revelations. And again, we fought SOPA and PIPA, which would have created that would have made the internet a really oppressive, censorship-ridden, scary place. So I'm here today to talk about the intellectual property provisions, specifically the copyright enforcement provisions, and those pose a huge threat to the internet and your digital rights. When WikiLeaks published those texts, we've been talking about these copyright enforcement provisions for over 2 years, and they confirmed exactly what we've been saying all along, despite what the U.S. trade rep have been saying, and saying that, oh no, we actually are paying attention to what users' needs are, and they clearly were not listening to it at all. So it enshrines a broken copyright system that we have in the United States that leads to users' content being taken down and censored. It carries provisions that incentivize internet service providers like Comcast and websites like Google and Facebook to police your activities. The TPP puts the onus on these internet companies to privately enforce copyright. And we've seen in the United States over and over again how that leads to users' legal content being taken down and censored without any judge overseeing what content is being taken down. And those sorts of provisions could get much worse under TPP. It carries provisions that criminalize how you tinker with your digital devices. More and more of our devices come with digital locks. They're called digital rights management, or DRM. And they prevent you from sharing, supposedly, your copyrighted content on your phone or your ebook or your video game console. But what it effectively does is makes all kinds of common sense things illegal for you to do. For instance, people with visual and reading disabilities can't change the format of their ebooks because breaking these digital locks are illegal. it makes it that much harder for you to repair or take your devices to a repair person because because breaking those digital locks are illegal. Security researchers that find security flaws on our platforms have been too afraid to publish their research because they had to break these digital locks on content on these platforms, and so they've been silenced from exposing how these platforms are unsafe. The TPP's copyright provisions pave the way for a future that makes us fearful of how we use and interact with technology. Even the investor state provisions that you heard about with environment and food safety programs. It will empower corporations to sue sovereign nations over regulations that allegedly cut into their future profits and can be used to stifle new laws that protect your digital rights. And as we grow to increasingly depend on technology over the coming decades, do we want our laws to treat us like criminals for tinkering with devices that we own? Do we want our technology that surrounds us, that we even put into our bodies like hearing aids, to become legal black boxes over which we have less and less control and less information? No! Do we want the internet to feel less free, more intimidating, and more oppressive? No! These kinds of provisions are in the TPP because we are shut out, because corporate interests are the only ones who are being listened to at the table. And our trade offices give privileged treatment to Hollywood and lets our civil liberties get crushed in the process. We're here to protest TPP, but we're here to protest a much bigger threat: the corporate takeover of our government and the violation of our basic democratic principles. This is about protesting a system that upholds corporate interests at the expense of the public. Our rights, our well-being cannot be treated as an afterthought. An agreement negotiated in secret with no public oversight holds no democratic legitimacy. So let's tell Obama, Pelosi, and Feinstein, listen to the people and ditch the TPP. Thank you.
Great, so that's a great way to get all of our energy up so that we can start marching and going down and telling Feinstein the exact same message. We need her to say no on fast track, no new NAFTAs, and no to the TPP. If you all stop moving right now, though, I was just hoping you could indulge me. I said we're one of 45 actions across the country, and I'd love to be able to photograph it from up here, just so that everybody across the country and across the continent can see how many of us came out today. I'm going to ask you guys to hold that down. So if everyone can just see where you are for 1 second, I'm going to do a whole bunch of pictures, and it's going to be great.
First, you got the guy talking in the camera and yelling at me when I call him on. Now we got people with all right. Flash the TPP! 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 Flash the TPP!
Flash the TPP! Okay, so you're all beautiful and wonderful. One announcement before we go. Like I said, now's the time we really have to take big action. There is a nonviolent direct action training